Hi guys, in this video we're going to listen to the people right at the coalface in the logistics industry who describe the industry as being in the middle of a perfect storm, and it appears the only thing they disagree with is whether or not it's a tornado or a hurricane. But if that's not bad enough, it seems that what we can all look forward to following our wonderful numpty leader is the danger of a tornado within the hurricane, and both approaching the UK rapidly, directly, and with massive disruptive powers. There really is not another way of putting this. Westminster is either unwilling or unable to face the real problem. So let's go.
The same problem that's left shop shelves empty is now leading to bins being full as the lorry driver shortage hits waste collection across the UK. Major refuse firms told us they now have an average 15% driver vacancy rate. Some have to temporarily combine recycling with general refuse or suspend garden waste collections for periods. Councils say they're prioritising to protect critical refuse services.
We will see that recycling rates will be affected as people are having to put in contingency measures.
Sewage plants are struggling to get a chemical they use to treat wastewater.
We raised this various levels within government going back as far as May.
We've learned government will now act on the lack of lorry driving tests within days, but goods that come into our homes and waste that goes out are already affected.
Now, the conversation we're going to review took place just a few days ago. This was one of these virtual conferences organised by the UK Trade and Business Commission, whose goal it was to understand the current difficulties with a view to anticipating and recommending measures that may help the industry moving forward. Why this didn't happen before September is completely beyond me. Completely beyond me. But before we go to jail without passing go and collecting 200 quid, we would like to present to you a simple message on behalf of the Numpty Brigade that attempts to explain, actually it only highlights how we are all going to be affected once the strain of autumn and winter trade is hopefully, believe it or not, upon us, okay? And what we all have to look forward to. So take a look.
My name is Richard Harrow. I'm the CEO of the British Frozen Food Federation. We've probably not been impacted quite as badly with driver shortages because although we do get delays on our product, the product life that we have means that product doesn't spoil. If you're in the short life market, this not only creates delays, but it creates huge wastage as well. Actually really echo Andrew's comments earlier, that it's not just about driver shortages. We're seeing skill shortages across the entire supply chain. You can't get engineers, then you can't run your production line. So it doesn't matter if you can't get a driver to come and pick your goods up, you can't make it in the first place. And I think I've never seen the sort of pressures that our members are under across such a wide range of issues, from availability of labour to cost pressures, whether that be labour costs or raw material costs. I was talking to a member the other day and I said, where are the major pressures? And he said, literally everything we're touching at the moment is going up. So I think we are actually facing what I can only describe as a perfect storm.
Now, lads, if this was not so serious, it would be funny. Anyway, moving on. We've heard the rumours of containers costing $12,000 US dollars to ship from China, whereas in 2019, those costs were about $1,800, depending on the port that it was being used in China. In general, it has to be said that that $12,000 figure, it's mostly accurate. But as we are discussing the supply chain, one cannot simply look at any single item in isolation. It doesn't make sense. So firstly, what needs to be said here is that it is mostly the issues of the food and beverage supply chain that we're all aware of. We're all aware of that. Now, when the Brexit numpties mention that the whole world is having a problem, they are talking complete and utter crap. And they're simply deflecting the issue. Why? Because the only countries of note that the UK imports food from, they being Brazil, Australia and New Zealand, and as both Australia and New Zealand use Singapore as a hub, they're not suffering the same delays in Singapore. Why? Because Singapore has COVID rate is just 8% of what it is in the UK per capita. And by the way, you know the great vaccination, oh, the world leading up. Singapore's population is 80% inoculated. 80% of her entire population, not just the over 12s, entire population. Now, and believe it or not, the Singaporean government is under pressure to get COVID under control. Are you listening to that, Farage and Bojo? You know, really? But if you ever wanted to see the dangers of Brexit, it's right here and it's right now. The cost of freight from Singapore to the UK has gone from $1,500 to $12,000. Okay? The increase of cost from Europe to Ireland has remained static. In fact, because of fuel bills and no Channel Tunnel, though there is a longer delay of about 36 hours, they have decreased slightly. But for the UK, oh baby, that's a whole different story altogether, man. Those rates from Europe to the UK have gone up by almost 80% just for the freight. And that doesn't include the customs clearance cost of approximately, I think it's about 97 pounds or euro per shipment. In short, this demonstrates clearly and unequivocally that shipping goods from halfway around the world when the same goods are available right on your doorstep is just stupid. It's stupid. But back to the UK. And firstly, the discovery, there hasn't been a major impact on the importation of frozen goods. But to those who actually read, unlike the numpty brigade, this is hardly surprising, as frozen goods require significantly less paperwork than fresh goods, okay? This, by the way, is why there's no problem exporting frozen sausages from the mainland to Northern Ireland, okay? Secondly is that dry goods coming from the Far East, from China, whatever, are facing production delays of their own, and therefore lead times have been lengthened. And I'd like to explain just how bad it's going to get and just how crucial it is around Christmas and autumn period. Because I really think, just to get a handle on this, okay? To bring the message home of the dangers of screwing this up, we really need to understand that the high street retailers have been all but wiped out. Okay, they really have. And for those that remain, they simply cannot afford a less than perfect upcoming season. They need everything to go absolutely right in order to survive, not to make money. Between January and June, a massive 8,739 high street retail stores have closed. And now that the government financial intervention has come basically to an end, it's more likely than it is less likely that this figure will go north even further, because as there are legitimate delays coming from Chinese dry goods factories, many high street stores have been caught with their trousers down because they really couldn't attach any weight. They couldn't make any plans because they never had a clue what Boris was going to do, and they never had a clue what the numpty brigade what story they were going to spin this time. They spun so many tales and stories. They have completely lost the confidence of the SMEs. They know they could not depend on Bojo. They know he could not provide dependable instructions. Let me explain how and why it's been so devastating to the UK. Why this bozo, I have to be careful of my words. The normal lead time for Chinese factories for delivery of anything from paper clips to electric scooters is 6 weeks. Anybody who tells you otherwise is talking crap. I know quite a lot about it. This figure, we are told, has been pushed out to 8 weeks. However, we also have to allow a further 4 weeks for shipping and, you know, the normal stuff from China into Europe, into Rotterdam, across to the UK. That's a 4 week. Okay, that's now we're at 12 weeks. What we need to add to that is that the wholesaler needs to take in that stock and distribute it as fast as possible through his retail network chains. Okay? Now, so we need to allow about 4 weeks for that, from the time the goods arrive at the docks to the time he ships out the last box from the container, about 4 weeks. Okay? So that brings us to 20 weeks, but we're not finished yet. We need to add to that the time it is sitting on the retailer shelves before it's purchased by the end user, because they cannot rely now on just-in-time deliveries. That just ain't gonna happen. No way, Jose, man. So the minimum for that is about 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, which is about the right time to allow for arriving at the store's warehouse, displayed on the shelves, and then purchased by the consumer. I'm just giving 3 weeks for that. That brings the entire process, the schedule, to a period of 24 weeks. You have to have the goods ordered 24 weeks before Christmas Day. So basically, they had to be ordered in June, when everything was closed. So goods that you purchased from the shelf during the first week of December would have been ordered from the factory in the middle of June, or maybe May, and not a week later, not July. The wholesaler or large retailer will have tied up whatever free cash they held. And I'm telling you, that happens because you don't get credit from Chinese factories. No matter who you are, you'll operate off an LC, or you'll give a deposit on your containers. Whether you buy 1 container or 100 containers per month, there is no credit, okay? And we also know that most of the high street stores were closed in June, so the dice has been rolled. They've rolled the dice on this, and time is going to tell, and only time will tell. But here is just one of the stings in the tail of this viper. Even if the wholesalers have the goods at their disposal, they're hard pressed to find the drivers to deliver the goddamn goods that they've already paid for and already imported. Okay? Put yourself in the shoes of the haulage company. Your company is in Kent. It's mid-November, Christmas deliveries are in full swing, and the already stretched supply chain is breaking down or has broken down. You receive an instruction to pick up a load from Paris, and 2 months later, you get a call to pick up a load in Aberdeen. Now, Paris is nearer. Your decision is going to be? It's going to be Aberdeen, because you are completely dependent on Paris load having all the correct paperwork, and you won't know this until you arrive. Furthermore, you've no idea how long the French inspection is going to take, unless your trailer is empty when you go out, which is going to increase the cost of the goods being imported back in. You know, so the shortages and the strains on the supply chain are being met head on as Boris and the numpty brigade continue to ignore reality, turn their backs on SMEs, turn their backs on the UK, bury themselves in wine, cigars and song. Thanks for watching. See you on the flip side. Don't forget to subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.